Hello, I'd like to welcome you to this tutorial. I'm going to dedicate this tutorial to my good man, Precious Rodgers Badda, who is a very profound teacher of English language and literature. Many times we are faced with the challenge of trying to analyze questionnaires that we use either for research or for purposes of getting some information. Now we have a very good program called SPSS, and this program can do a lot of analysis of data. But one of the challenges that we normally get is what we call mapping the questions. We transform those questions that we have into data that the program can analyze. Now I want to straight away dive into what I would like to cover today. Just right here I have a questionnaire, and it is seeking for information from a respondent. Section A is saying background characteristics of the respondent. It says department, are they from arts or sciences? Name of the school, is it private, government or public? I want to look at section A first. Now what happens is that is what we call, there are two views. Correct. There's a data view and a variable view. Now this is the data view where you punch in the data. Now we go to variable view and we would like, for example, this is where we declare from. This is what I would normally call the column name. It's when you're feeding in data. When you look at data view, what this is one column like this. This column here. Now this column. Now every question you have here. Now this column is where you declare from. Okay, now what the reality is, the row here, this row here, is certainly going to become the column right here. These are the different respondents you're going to be having, the same question and how they responded. Alright, this is how I'm going to start. I'm going to call this my question section A. This is going to be SA, basing on this SA. Now this question, I'm going to call it department. I'm going to call it question 1. Sorry, question 1. Now what do I need from that question? It's going to be, the label here is going to be department. Why do we need labels? Because they help you to know what exactly you're working with. That's the department. Now values, let's get down a little bit. Now the values that we will put, we normally say the value. Now I would like to say arts is going to be a value would be 1 for arts. So when I'm filling in my data, when I fill in 1, it means I'm filling in for arts. Then 2 is going to be for sciences. There you go. Alright, then I say okay. Now immediately you change the datasheet view, you already see S1A. Now this means this is section A, question 1. Now whichever value I fill here, for example, if I filled a 2, it simply means this respondent 1 for that question filled a 2. Alright, let me go back to the variable view. Now I'm going to go to section STL. Now I'm in the variable view. I'm looking at section STL. But now this time around I'm going to consider this question, nature of school. I'm going to call it 2. And then my label is going to be nature of school. Nature of school, it has 3 options, so therefore I'll come here and say the value, if it is 1, then it's going to be private. Add. If it's 2, then it's going to be government aided. Then if it's 3, it's going to be public. Alright, those are the 3 categories of schools. This is what the researcher wants to find. Now, I've finished my, see this, every time you create this column here comes, there's another column, there's another column. Now, if we have the first respondent and we're looking at their questionnaire, we'd like to know what do they feel at SA1. If they feel the 2, then we feel a 2. If you feel, then we go ahead. If you feel the 1, then we feel the 1. At the end of the day, inside here, there must be only numbers because the computer will only analyze, program will only analyze those numbers. All right, so now I want to go to section 3, which is right here. It says national summative assessment. Now such a question, for example, it has, this is a section A, but it has other parts, you see, which is part 1 and then part 2. So you have to be creative on how you label your questions. So whatever you would like is what you consider. Now here we look at part 1, written exams are supplemented by, now I could say that this is S3 part 1 question 1. So I want to design, I'm looking at this question here and how I can capture the output here. Now I'm looking at, it is section 3, so I'll say S3, S3, or section A, because I already finished section A. This is S3, S3 section, I could say section A, P1, just to differentiate. Now this is going to be P1 because it could be P1, P1, 1, P1 for part 1, then 1 is the first question. It's going to be numeric, definitely. Now here it's going to be, now this is where it is very important. Now the values. When we say true, which point value do you want to give true? Do you want to give it 5? Every questionnaire has a different, for example, if you wanted to find out if people are somebody is happy, a scale of 1 to 5, 5 means full happiness. Now, in this case, you see which written exams are supplemented by other forms of assessments. Is this true? Is this? Now, when somebody says sometimes, of course, certainly, if it is true, then you give it a 5. So therefore, this one is going to say, if we have a 5, then that is true. Okay. If we have a 4, that is going to be sometimes, so it doesn't happen regularly. And if we have a 3, it's going to be false. And if we have a 2, it's going to be not sure. Alright, so you realize when you put space it won't come through. Alright, so when we say OK and we go back to our data view, these are the questions. So far this is the information we have from this candidate who has not filled this respondent questionnaire. So that's how we really create, and this is how we create. We actually map questions in SPSS. I hope you enjoyed this video, my good man, Precious.